I want to quickly talk to you about bad credit, business lines of credit that report to Dun& Bradstreet. So if you are looking for a Dun& Bradstreet bad credit business line of credit, this show is for you. The first lender that you want to talk to is U.S. Fund Source. And with U.S. Fund Source, you have a bad credit business line of credit that reports to Dun& Bradstreet. And we love the fact that this lender is really flexible in terms of APR. You are looking at 3.48%. Can you imagine that 3.48% APR? That's the beginning APR. This is really great. And you are talking about a lender that can actually approve you all the way to $1 million. And we're talking about a business line of credit that reports to Dun& Bradstreet, and they actually report. I mean, they can report you. They can report your business to Dun& Bradstreet once a month, once a quarter, or once every other month. It really depends upon the setup that you have with them. So what we love about U.S. Fund Source is that they are very flexible. They offer all kinds of business lines of credit. You have secured business line of credit, but unsecured business line of credit, and you have credit lines that go from $2,500 all the way to $2 million. This is really good. And you have approvals in as little as 5 minutes. What we love about U.S. Fund Source is that not only can you be approved real fast, but they don't ask you a lot of documentation. They're not really trying to bother you with a lot of documentation. They want you to be at least 6 months in business, and you need to justify at least $100,000 in annual revenue. So if you want to qualify for a U.S. Fund Source bad credit business line of credit that reports to Dun& Bradstreet, those are the two important qualifications. So you have $100,000 in annual revenue and 6 months in business. But overall, U.S. Fund Source is really fast. They will work with you. They actually will provide funds to you within 72 hours maximum. And we have seen people actually get approved within 24 hours. This is really fine. But if you want to have a business line of credit that's below $100,000, they can approve you real fast. But if you want anything above $100,000, you might have to wait for like 24 to 48 hours. And in most cases, you might have to wait 72 hours. But overall, this is a great lender. They have a wonderful reputation, and this is really great. Boss, I want to quickly welcome you to the show. It's really a fantastic opportunity to talk to you about the bad credit business lines of credit that fits the bill is United Capital Source. And when it comes to United Capital Source, you need to understand there are 3 things I want you to pay attention to. So you have flexibility, you have speed, and you have convenience. So when it comes to flexibility, United Capital Source gives you all kinds of bad credit business loans and will report your data to Dun & Bradstreet every single month. So this is really fantastic. And we also love the fact that, so that's the first thing. The second thing in terms of speed, the process is very simple. You can apply in minutes. So you have to go through United Capital Source, go to their platform and apply. And it probably takes 2 minutes. And what will happen here is that you can compare options. So you will have secured and unsecured options with no personal guarantee. And again, we're talking about bad credit business lines of credit. So you need to actually search a lot to make sure you are having the proper products. That's really important. And also, one thing I need to say also is that you need to pick the terms that work best for your business. So the thing is, United Capital Source is giving you flexibility in terms of you choosing the terms and conditions upon which you have to repay the loan. So this is really fantastic. And one thing I need to say here is that you can actually get financing from United Capital Source up to $5 million. $5 million, that's the maximum you can get. And you have actually, you can actually access 75 to 80 lenders with multiple products to choose from. So here again, United Capital Source is not a direct lender. It is actually a platform, and let's say a loan marketplace that has other lenders. And you can see which lender works the best for you. And what we love about United Capital Source here is that you also have bad credit business lines of credit that reports to Dun & Bradstreet, but also other business credit bureaus. You have Experian Business, you have Equifax Business as well. So this is really an important element to think about. And so if you have any question and you want to know more about United Capital Service, it's just a lot better to Capital Source rather. United Capital Source. If you want to understand how the process works, so just give them a call. Just call them. The number is 1-855-933-8638. Again, the number here is 1-855-933-8638. So you are able to have all the info that you need about their underwriting process. By the way, boss, I want to quickly remind you of today's topic. We're having a conversation about bad credit, business lines of credit that report to Dun& Bradstreet. Another business line of credit that reports to Dun& Bradstreet is American Express business line of credit. And so American Express will actually approve you for a bad credit business line of credit if you actually have a relationship with them. If you have an existing relationship with American Express, then they'll really work with you. And what do I mean by existing business, existing relationship? You got to be either an existing card holder, either business or personal. You got to have a business bank account with them, or you're going to have some kind of outstanding credit products with them, either a business loan or anything else. Okay. And one thing I want to say also is that when we talk about the American Express business line of credit, we're talking about a lender that not only will report you to Dun& Bradstreet, but also will approve you with a bad credit score. So basically, you have loan amounts here that go from $2,000 all the way to $250,000, and you can be funded within 1 to 3 business days. So if you need the cash for something really urgent, this is really fine, not a problem. And American Express will work with you to actually make it happen, so you can get funded ASAP. And so American Express, they actually accept bad credit and fair credit. The company has low annual revenue requirements, and you have a variety of repayment terms. And what we don't like is that sometimes American Express will charge you monthly fees for outstanding balances. They do charge late fees. And so in some cases, they have received poor Trustpilot reviews. But overall, if I were to summarize this, don't worry about if you have bad credit. You can still have a business line of credit that actually report to Dun& Bradstreet, and you can get actually approved within 3 to 5 days. But if you have all the documentation, you can be approved within I would say 72 hours. So this is 72 hours. This is like, I want to talk to you about Clarify Capital. So when we talk about Clarify Capital, we're speaking about, first of all, a very flexible platform that you can actually use for a bad credit, business line of credit lender. And Clarify Capital will report your data to Dun& Bradstreet, not a problem. So everything starts through Clarify Capital by you actually applying for a business loan directly or a business line of credit directly online, or you can just give them a call. You can call right now 1-877-838-3919, and so there is no fee or obligation. You just have a conversation with the specialist, and they'll let you know what kind of products they have for you. And what I love about Clarify Capital is that they will actually ask you very important questions that will determine whether or not you need the cash in the first place, and what you like, whether you need the cash as a business credit or you need maybe a business term loan. And so sometimes Clarify Capital will ask you questions about your geography, the states where you're in, where you do business. Do you do business in the whole United States, or you just do business more locally? This is important also. And when we talk about Clarify Capital, we talk again about a lender network. So this is not a direct lender. So again, you have the opportunity to talk to several lenders and to have your business profile exposed to various lenders who might consider you for a bad credit business line of credit. And one thing I need to say also is that when we talk about a lender network at Clarify Capital, most of their lenders will report your data to Dun & Bradstreet. So, most, meaning like 95% of the lenders will report your data to Dun & Bradstreet. And so when we talk about the funding, so how much can you expect through Clarify Capital? Well, it really depends on your financials, but you can expect up to $1 million through Clarify Capital, and you can get the cash real fast. Again, you can receive through Clarify Capital, you can receive a bad credit business line of credit that reports to Dun & Bradstreet. You can receive a bad credit business short-term loans. You can actually receive a bad credit working capital loans that report to Dun & Bradstreet. You can receive a merchant cash advance that report to Dun & Bradstreet. So the possibilities are totally there. By the way, boss, I want to quickly remind you of today's topic. We're having a conversation about bad credit business lines of credit that report to Dun & Bradstreet. I also want to talk to you about OnDeck. So OnDeck is another lender that you might want to consider if you are looking for a bad credit, business line of credit that reports to Dun& Bradstreet. And when it comes to OnDeck, we love the fact that OnDeck is constantly revamping their underwriting strategies. They want to focus more on a few geographies. They don't want to do anything national anymore. They think it's not profitable. So you can actually seize the opportunity that OnDeck is giving you to apply for an OnDeck business line of credit. Even if you have bad credit, you can still qualify. I'm talking about line of credit amounts that go from $6,000 all the way to $100,000. Okay, and you can be funded on the same day. If you have all the paperwork, if you have all the documentation they require, you get your cash like in the afternoon. If you apply in the morning, you get your cash in the afternoon, and the next day you have your cash actually in your bank account. So this is really an important element to mention here, and that you need to also when we talk about OnDeck in general, just make sure that we love OnDeck because of the flexibility. And so it basically accepts fair credit scores, it accepts bad credit scores. It doesn't require collateral, so you can have an unsecured business line of credit. The only thing is that OnDeck does not operate in all 50 states, and same-day funding is not available in some states, so in every state rather. And so it's one of those things you got to ask yourself whether you want to wait or you're okay to start ahead. Okay, and so basically, it's one thing OnDeck wants you to have in terms of operational history is 1 year. So 1 year operational history, the required annual revenue, $100,000. So if you're looking for a bad credit business line of credit that reports to Dun& Bradstreet, you want to get it through OnDeck, you need to justify revenue of at least $100,000. You can do it on a weekly basis if you don't feel comfortable doing this at a manual at the annual basis. You can do this on a daily basis. You just need to have the proper accounting setup for this to happen. So this is I'm just giving you another option that you can think about in this world. First of all, it accepts bad credit. So, if you have any FICO score that is below 579, not a problem. Fundbox will work with you and has been working with folks for the last, I don't know, so many years now. So when we talk about this is the first thing we want to think about. And so this lender is great for startups. So if you're currently struggling with liquidity issues and you're looking for a bad credit business line of credit that reports to Dun & Bradstreet, then maybe you want to consider Fundbox. So you can get up to $150,000. You can get the funds as soon as the next business day. And in some cases, they might actually just pull everything off to you and really kind of help you out. And one thing I want to help you out means what? You can be funded on the same day, on the spot, if you will. And so when you think about Fundbox, I want you to think about all kinds of loans. I want you to think about the fact that you have not only received fast funding, but you might have to pay maintenance fees on a weekly basis. You might have to work with early repayment term options. This is important. But what we love is that the minimum time required in business is only 6 months. So for this lender to even qualify you, as long as you are in business for 6 months, this is totally fine. So we love this a lot. And I would just want to say that it's important to understand that the minimum FICO score, if you were to go with the FICO score, that's basically 550. So 550 is the minimum FICO score. It goes from 550 all the way to 600, so that you have a nice ballpark to actually play within that zone if you want to actually play with that zone. So overall, this is really a nice surprise yesterday in terms of you getting like let's say you start applying for Fundbox yesterday, right? And you just realize that, hey, listen, there are other players in the industry that you should apply with. But the cool thing is that Fundbox, in some cases, they will match. If you can receive an offer from another lender, they will match that offer and actually work with you to keep the business with them. In other words, you can borrow from them. This is really good. I mean, this means that this lender is really serious here. I want to talk to you about Bluevine. So Bluevine is another bad credit business line of credit that reports to Dun & Bradstreet. Now, Bluevine, when we talk about reporting to Dun & Bradstreet, Bluevine has its own internal regimen when it comes to reporting to Dun & Bradstreet. Sometimes they report to Dun & Bradstreet on a monthly basis. Sometimes they do this every 2 weeks. Sometimes they do it every 2 months. Sometimes they do it every month. I mean, every 6 months rather, every 3 months or every 6 months. It really depends. And what we love about Blue Vine in general here is that beyond the fact that they report to Dun& Bradstreet, we love the fact that they are very generous. So they give you up to $250,000 in terms of amount, maximum amount. And so you basically need to at least be a little experienced and a little established. So Blue Vine wants you to be established. Blue Vine wants you to have 2 years operational history, and you need to have $40,000 in monthly revenue. It goes from $20,000 all the way to $40,000 in monthly revenue. And basically, you need to understand also what really works for your business and be able to articulate this with ease. Okay. So another thing I want to say when it comes to Blue Vine is that Blue Vine actually gives you a fast funding process, and so you don't have to pay monthly maintenance or prepayment fees. This is really cool. And even though Blue Vine does not disclose its maximum interest rates, we know from our research that it could be really high. So it could be really high. But just kind of recap here: loan amounts $250,000. Repayment term, you have 6 months and you have 1 year. So you could have chosen what really works for you. And so in terms of fees, you may have to pay a fee to Blue Vine if you missed payments. And so it's also important to understand that you can be funded as soon as the same business day. So sorry about that. So you can be funded on the same business day if you are, let's say you have all the paperwork needed. This is totally fine. And one thing I also need to say here is that you need to also talk to Blue Vine to make sure you are able to qualify fast. And you are able to provide the data they ask you. Because once they actually approve you, or once they actually have reviewed your profile, if they are interested, they will give you a timeline you need to follow to provide additional documentation. So please, when you are aware of that, please follow the instructions. Very, very important. Recap to this conversation. So I was just talking to you about bad credit business line of credit that reports to Dun & Bradstreet. So number one, we have U.S. Fund Source. Number two, we have United Capital Source. Number three, we have American Express business line of credit. Number four, we have Clarify Capital. Number five, we have OnDeck. Number six, we have Fundbox. Number seven, we have Blue Vine. Thank you so much. God bless you. I'll speak to you another time, but until then, remember, stay marvelous.